Live from Wayne Prophet Court, it's game 2 of a doubleheader here on LHSN. This time, it's the women's basketball variety as the University of Lynchburg plays host to Eastern Mennonite. Hornets 7-6 on the year, 3-3 in conference play, currently tied for 5th in the ODAC standings. Eastern Mennonite on the other side, second to last in those conference standings, 1-7 inside conference play. We're coming off a great, very entertaining men's basketball game. Hope for more of the same here in the second of our doubleheader. TJ Winger alongside Nathaniel Pierce with you on LHSN. And, well, Pierce, what do you think stands out as a couple of the big keys in this game? EMU's coming off back-to-back losses against Randolph-Macon, one on the road, one at home. They are looking to get back on track. What do you think is a big key for the Royals?
Well, for them, with the 2 losses back-to-back and the fact they're only shooting 20% from the 3, and with, the bigs that we have, they're going to have to try to work harder on that one. Likewise, with their blocks per game, they're averaging less than 1 block per game, and even though Lynchburg's three-point shooting isn't great, it's still better. And without any blocks, it's going to be a big key in this battle.
No doubt size will definitely be a huge factor in this one. Tip is up, and we are underway. Lindsay Davis swings it out to Kate Kolb. Once again in the starting lineup, 6th consecutive start, and she is our Hornets player to watch. Here the pass sails out of play, but Kolb, once again in the starting lineup, in the 5 previous games where she's been a starter, 11.6 points per game, 5.4 rebounds, and almost a block and a half per contest. Simply put, she's taken over that spot for Sarah Johnson after Johnson got hurt, and Lynchburg has not skipped a beat. Royals return the favor, turn it over. We'll give you the starting lineups for each team. For Eastern Mennonite, it's Constance Kamara, Maya Hamlet, Lila Glimp, Bree Redfern, and Trinity Price. For Lynchburg, it's Olivia Harris, Meredith Vetter, Kate Kolb, Lizzie Davis, and Erin Green. Some full court pressure brought on by EMU. Harris open, shot strong, rebound Redfern. Very impressive freshman from Fairfax, Virginia, averaging almost 8 rebounds per game. 3rd in the conference in offensive boards per contest and 7th in steals. Here it's Redfern dropping it down low from outside the restricted circle. First shot of the day for Lila Glimp. It's no good. We remain scoreless. Kate Kolb changes that. It makes it 2-0. Zone defense to start for Lynchburg. Vetter contests the 3-point shot, but it's knocked down regardless. Trinity Price breaks the ice for the Royals. Lynchburg playing up tempo. Harris can't finish on the layup. Harris has been stellar of late. Made her first career start earlier this week on Tuesday. Today makes it 2 in a row. She's played at least 25 minutes in 7 of the last 8. So even prior to becoming a starter, she had a huge role carved out for herself in the rotation. Off of Meredith Vetter. Out of play it goes. It stays with Eastern Mennonite. 8 minutes to go in the first quarter. 20 seconds put on the shot clock. Speaking of the game earlier this week, Lynchburg coming off a win against Virginia Wesleyan. 90-55, 90 points, most that the Hornets have poured on aboard in any contest this year, and also a 35-point win, their largest margin of victory so far this season. Vetter called for the foul, first to go against Lynchburg. And stepping to the free throw line is Bree Redford, 60% free throw shooter so far this year. She was the only player to reach double figures last time out for the Royals. She had 14 against the Yellow Jackets. There's another look. The foul going against Vetter. Redfern readies. Makes it a 2-for-2 trip. EMU up by 3. Lizzie Davis takes screen right at the top of the key, and Davis continues to have a fantastic year. Senior from Knoxville, Tennessee. Top 10 in the ODAC in assist to turnover ratio. Kate Kolb gets points 3 and 4 on her afternoon on the second chance opportunity. Then you're talking about Davis. First in the ODAC in assists per game. Top 10 in both free throws attempted and free throws made as well. Nice resilience from Maya Hamlet. Looked like the shot was initially blocked. Still gets her first bucket on the afternoon. Hamlet, leading scorer for EMU, averaging more than 14 a game. Pick and pop, Aaron Green lets it fly for the first time this afternoon, and three-point shot won't go. Green has hit a 3 and 2 in a row. Some more low post work, this time for Constance Kamara.
You know, you have to give the Royals props there because, you know, three-point percentage may be their weakness, but they obviously are playing to that and trying to get down in the paint with almost every possession.
Only one shot from the perimeter so far for the Royals. Out of play it goes. EMU to take over. Some subs will check in for Eastern Mennonite. Those subs being Claiborne Poston, and she's our player to watch for the Royals. Not often we pick somebody who's not a starter, but Poston missed the first 11 games of the year. But then over the next 3 that she's been readily available, averaging more than 10 points per contest, north of 3 assists per game, and almost 3 steals per contest as well. Here, a no-look pass from Poston. Sends it to the corner. Hoisted up by Price. Misses it all. Easy rebound for Green. Vetter will back it out and find her point guard, Lizzie Davis. Also should note, Davis, playing with women's basketball today, also a member of the track and field team, competing about an hour west of us in Salem. Keeping tabs on the track and field results as they come in. Vetter gets the Thacker treatment, 3 defenders, swarm her, and down to the floor she goes. Jump ball called. Alternating possession as the Royals take over. Here it is one more time. Initially poked away by Hamlet. KK Johnson dribbles over to the far side wing. Here's Price again. Left open. Off the front of the iron. First time calling out the name Sarah Johnson. She gets that rebound.
We'll say it is interesting watching these two offenses go at it. EMU seems to be really focused on that fast ball movement and getting somebody open, whereas Lynchburg has taken it slow to try to open this game up.
Green looking in the direction of Johnson. Flung forward, in the direction of KK Johnson, and out of play it goes. EMU maintains possession. Johnson's played at least 10 minutes in every game, so here to see her on the hardwood fair amount this afternoon. Inbound goes to Poston. She started all 5 games last year for EMU. Almost 30 minutes a contest. Speaking to she's carved out for herself. Hamlet drives. Called for the travel. That'll stop the clock with 4:53 to go in the opening quarter. That'll bring us to our first immediate timeout. 7-4, EMU with the early lead. We'll step aside and come back with more as you're watching LHSN. Royals with the early lead over the Hornets. Lynchburg looking to make it 2 consecutive wins. Eastern Mennonite looking to bring close to a 2-game skid. Both those losses at the hands of the Yellow Jackets. First on Saturday the 15th at Randolph, making it 86-75. Then at home, 69-40. Another cause and effect situation from COVID, rescheduling games. Davis just underneath the basket, can't finish the layup. Lynchburg 2 for 9 shooting the basketball to start. Throwing hard off the glass. Harris, Euro, called for the offensive foul. Drawing charges will certainly get you picked up by your teammates. And what an unselfish play here from Johnson in transition. Puts herself in the right position. 3rd turnover to go against Lynchburg. Mid-range jumper, nothing but nylon for a Hamlet. Lynchburg has the answer. Comes in the form of Aaron Green. Give her the bucket and the foul. Green's been playing some great basketball of late. 13 points, 2 games back, 16 earlier this week on Tuesday. And there you see her screen off her defender. Off the glass and in. And at the free throw line might be the spot where she's the most comfortable. Nearly an 82% free throw shooter. Not something you could say for a lot of 6'3" bigs across the country. That 82% or thereabout, first in the ODAC. Kamara loses it. Taylor Gant flings forward. Davis draws the foul. Guilty party. Claiborne Poston.
You know, you were talking about earlier how, I mean, last year, obviously, they did not do too well in the few games they were able to play the Royals. And this year, right now, they're trying to come off this 2-game skid against Randolph-Macon. But this EMU team is probably one of the youngest in the ODAC, with a lot of their players being, you know, sophomores and freshmen, all like underclassmen.
I mean, even if you look at the starting lineup, you have 1 senior in Kamara, then it's
3 freshmen and a sophomore.
Exactly. Freshmen being Hamlet, Redfern, and Price. The sophomores, Lila Glimp. It's a young team under 4th-year head coach Jenny Posey. And you'll have some learning moments along the way for sure. But one thing every college basketball coach I've talked to has noted about very young teams is they are among the scariest to face, just as much as a very veteran group, because you just don't know what you're going to get. And that goes for EMU in this case, but it also goes for Coach Allison Nichols and Lynchburg. For all they know, they could be rolling into a storm and maybe the best game this young group puts together. You see Lizzie Davis at the free throw line. Just like Green, she's been stellar from the line this year. That make that much closer to a 74% free throw shooter. That's good for 4th best inside the conference. So you look at a young team in EMU, and on the other side, the 2 players that jump off the page, especially with Sammy Sever out for the rest of the year. Lizzie Davis, a senior. Aaron Green, senior from Maryland. So it's a nice juxtaposed situation where young squad against a very veteran group. As Kolb gets the rebound, hey, there's another name to talk about, a senior in Tate Kolb. Nice find. Harris gives to Gant. Gant no good underneath the hoop.
The differences in the ages of the players on the court right now will definitely make an interesting story over the next 4 years as the first years and the sophomores grow up and I assume continue playing with the Royals, whereas you're going to have an entirely different squad on the court this time in 3 or 4 years for the Hornets.
Foul on the court. Nice dribble move from Olivia Harris. Staying calm against that pressure, and that brings me to my next point. Something I'm really excited about for first-year head coach Allison Nichols as Harris checks out is these recruits that come in. Coach Nichols had a hand in Renee Alquiza, one of the better players inside the ODAC. Whitney Hobson, starting point guard for Roanoke. And Olivia Harris, freshman newcomer, someone that at the beginning of the year, Coach Nichols said she may be a first-year player, but she's going to have a nice role carved out for herself, and that has certainly come to fruition. Coach Nichols has a knack for finding talent. We're already seeing it here in Lynchburg. So you're right. 4 years down the line, where these freshmen are seniors for Eastern Mennonite, and it's a new group for Lynchburg. This might be one of the best matchups down the line. Time will tell that story. Shot clock at 10. Stop, pop. Davis watches it drop, and Lynchburg takes their first lead. Davis now even with Kolb. 4 points on the day to lead the Hornets. Nice find for Hamlet. Kamara denied. And a bit of a stare down afterwards from Kate Kolb. Talk about, since becoming a starter, almost a block and a half per game. Lynchburg first in the ODAC, averaging almost 5 rejections per contest. This one comes courtesy of Kate Kolb. After the inbound play for EMU gets sent out. Last touch by Royal. Less than 2 to go in the first quarter of play. Lofted up for Kolb. She's up to 6.
The Royals are definitely going to have to try to find a way to stop that down low game. And like we said at the top of the broadcast, with less than 1 block per game, they're really going to have to step up and make sure, with Sarah Johnson and Kate Kolb and Erin Green, you got to stop that down low. You can't just let it go.
It was EMU out to a quick start to open the ball game, and I think they did a really nice job moving the ball around. You talked about those quick passing, and if you're a team that struggles to shoot from the perimeter, it helps when you have Trinity Price. First made shot of the day was a 3-point look. But then after that, they try to work their way inside the paint, and they got a couple of good looks because they were moving the ball so well. Ultimately, you settle in that 2-3 zone for the Hornets. You're going to stand your ground. You come into the paint. Going against Erin Green, Kate Kolb will not be easy. We'll see how the Royals counter that. But on the other side, Lynchburg has been taking advantage of, call it a mismatch, for lack of a better term, wanting to take advantage of a lack of size down low for EMU. And that's why you see players like Kolb already with 6. Erin Green, 3. She got hers the old-fashioned way, basket in the foul. Lizzie Davis with 4 so far, made basket and a pair of free throws. Shooter's touch. Hamlet knocks down the long 2. And Coach Nichols wants his team playing up-tempo, and it doesn't just mean in fast break situations. Sometimes it's one pass, you covered 94 feet. And when you have a big like Erin Green who can run the length of the floor like that, that's a huge advantage. Foul goes against Harris. Free throws on the way for Eastern Mennonite. Maya Hamlet stepping to the line. First 2 looks from the charity stripe today. Hamlet on the year, though, 58.8% free throw shooter. That has been one of the areas of weakness so far this year. Knocks down the first. But overall, Hamlet's been standout player for Eastern Mennonite. Started and played at least 20 minutes in every game. And has 10 games this year with at least 10 points. 2 for 2. Hamlet already with 8. Davis. Defended by Poston. Green back out to Gant for 3. Touches every part of the rim, rattles out, offensive rebound, second chance opportunity for Davis. She'll go back up for look number 3, but it's called a jump ball. So the whistle is not for a foul. Instead, alternating possession will have it stay with Lynchburg. About a 17-second differential between shot and game clock. Lynchburg goes back down low. And Kate Kolb, their 4th field goal already, a perfect 4 for 4 mark to open her offensive scoring production. Illegal screen. Lila Glimp.
The Royals will do well, of course. keeping away from the illegal screens, but if they use proper screens, you can't get blocked if there's no one there to block you. So facing a team like Lynchburg, even if you necessarily can't knock down the three, but that, you know, maybe mid-range shot, use those screens to get somebody open, hit those mid-range, and again, nobody there, nobody to block you.
You just saw Coach Jenny Posey, 12th head coach in program history, previously the head coach over at Hollins, was the women's basketball head coach, cross-country coach, and strength and conditioning coach. Had her work cut out for her. Lizzie Davis to the free throw line after drawing the block on the near sideline. That was the 5th foul to go against the Royals. Davis now 4 for 4 from the line. After falling behind early, Lynchburg ahead by 6. EMU has the final possession. 3-point shot off the backboard and through. The bank's still open, folks. Not 5 o'clock yet. That's how the first quarter comes to a close. Lynchburg ahead 19-16 after 10 minutes. We'll step aside and come back with the second quarter between the Hornets and the Royals on LHSN. Getting set for the second quarter between Lynchburg and Eastern Mennonite. Back end of a doubleheader on LHSN. TJ Winger alongside Nathaniel Pierce. Here's the shot at the buzzer to bring it close to the first set of 10 minutes. Maya Hamlet already with 11. Her 11th game, fittingly enough, scoring in double figures. Trying to go wrap around. Constance Kamara, no good. From Erin Green to Kate Kolb, Lynchburg has their first player into double digits. Kolb has exactly 10. Pierce, we were just talking about during the break, Lynchburg ahead by 5 right now, but we talked about in the open, the Royals, 20% three-point shooting team. That's last in the ODAC, but today, 2 for 2 start. And maybe you don't lean on it, you don't put up 23-point shots, but, and I don't expect them to stay at 100% either, but if they can knock down some timely threes, look out, the Royals could be playing upset against the Hornets.
Most definitely. Just a few of those threes can really change the tide and the energy of this game.
It'll be Kate Kolb to inbound from underneath the hoop. 10 points, 4 rebounds already. Really can't speak to how important she has been and how impressive she's been since starting the last now 6 games. Davis somehow finds space against Poston, excuse me. Lead up to 7.
The Royals are going to have to find a way to answer down low. If they can't block, they need to do something. Otherwise, the Hornets are going to run away in the paint. They're not even going to bother doing anything else.
Cross-court swing pass sailed into the Lynchburg bench. Sarah Johnson will check in and give Kate Kolb opportunity to catch her breath. And what's been impressive about Lynchburg controlling the low post, it's been man-to-man defense so far for EMU. It's been legitimately Kolb beating the person across from her. Same thing for Erin Green and company. Gant open. One more pass. Vetter leaves it short. Offensive rebound for Lizzie Davis. Vetter. Second chance. Nice acrobatic finish. Looked like she was going to go up with the right. Jordan's it over to the left and off the glass and through to make it a 9-point game. Timeout on the court with 8:11 left in the first half. It's a 30-second timeout. We will keep it here. Go ahead and talk a little bit more about each coach. It's obviously with the doubleheader. We're a little squeezed between broadcasts, but Coach Jenny Posey, we talked about her tenure at Hollins, the women's basketball, cross country, and strength and conditioning coach. Also played in the ODAC at Bridgewater, graduate class of 2012. Made coaching stops along the way at Mount St. Mary College and also Lynchburg as a grad assistant after she graduated from Bridgewater. And another fun connection, her husband, Adam, head coach for EMU's baseball team. So we'll see more of the Posies once we get further into the spring. And then Coach Allison Nichols in her first year, former associate head coach at Roanoke, former head coach at Randolph, crosstown rival for Lynchburg, has her team back on track, ending a 3-game losing streak with a win against Virginia Wesleyan on Tuesday. And also, talk about this with the men's team in the game before this, done a good job continuing the tradition of defending Wayne Prophet Court. Lynchburg 6-1 at home so far.
Oh yeah, I can imagine it's very intimidating for any team, conference or non-conference, to come into Wayne Prophet Court and try to face one of these two Hornet teams.
Certainly been the case today, and in that first game, if you missed it, 76-70 final score. Men's basketball battled all the way back. We're down for a majority of the contest. T.C. Thacker led the way with 20 points, including points 11 and 12 on the day, moving up to 1,000 on his career. Now he's up and over that threshold. Actually finished that game 1 rebound short of 750 in his career. So another milestone soon to be knocked off the list. Davis gets a hands on a basketball, knocks it away. The intended target was Maya Hamlet. As the Royals on the verge of potentially falling behind by double figures. Got to think you're going to see a whole lot of Maya Hamlet the rest of the way. Poston to Price. She had the first 3 points of the afternoon for EMU. Nice turnaround move from outside the restricted circle. Price now with 5. Johnson pirouettes the baseline. Lizzie Davis wide open from 15 feet out. And right now, Lynchburg seemingly having everything they want and then some on the offensive side. Loose ball, jump ball called. Lynchburg will take over possession.
Unfortunately for the Royals, it just happened on their last defensive bit. When they actually go, to double down in the paint, you leave one open outside, and then you see, Lizzie Davis make the mid-range.
That's another place of strength, and we talked about how Lynchburg likes to play through their bigs. Kolb, Green, Johnson, Brooke Vetter when she's healthy. Meredith Vetter can be that kind of combo player. But all those bigs have great vision, and they pass the ball really well. You see it on display here. Green finds Johnson, good look. Won't be knocked down. That's where Meredith Vetter comes in. The offensive rebound. Lynchburg garners a second chance. Eight seconds on the shot clock. Johnson uses the square, makes it an 11-point Lynchburg lead. (18-4) advantage in points in the paint for Lynchburg. Make it 20-4 as the stats are now updated. Punched out to midcourt. EMU now with the second chance. The free throw line. Kamara won't have it easy. Royals field goal percentage now down to 30%. Johnson, give her 2 more. Timeout called by Coach Jenny Posey, and things are starting to get out of hand for the Royals. Just a 30-second timeout, so once again, we'll keep it here.
Lynchburg is going to keep going down low, and I don't know that the Royals can have an answer, but they're going to have to try to find one.
maybe the adjustment is switching to a zone. We've seen Lynchburg hold tight in their 2-3, and the reason I say that is you can play a 2-3 and collapse the paint. Lynchburg will have open looks from 3, but pick your poison. At this point, you haven't had an answer on the inside.
If I were the Royals, I would hope that the what is it, less than 30% shooting from the 3 for the Hornets would, grant you more opportunities than that man-to-man down low. It's just not working.
We'll see what adjustments come to fruition out of the timeout. 6 minutes left in the first half. Lynchburg was down after the first couple of minutes, now ahead by 13. Hamlet picks up her dribble, looking for help. Swung over to Price. Free throw line. Shot no good, rebound for Sarah Johnson. Harris trying to thread the needle to Kolb, and they're going to say last touched by a Hornet. Our vantage point, it looked pretty clear off of Lila Glimpf, but just like we said in the first game, we aren't paid to make that call. But a stop for Eastern Mennonite. Chance to build some momentum down the stretch in the first half. Off the back iron. Long rebound. Davis is going to go coast to coast. Davis now with the game high 12, and on the inbound, shuffle of the feet, turnover for EMU. Lynchburg loves lofting it to their bigs on those inbound sets. There you see it again. Kolb ties Davis. Each have 12.
And unfortunately, that's another area the Royals need to focus on. If not now, then especially in the second half of this game, is Lynchburg already has 10 points off of turnover. And that definitely, it's not the entirety of their lead right now, but it definitely adds to it.
Makes up a good portion of that lead. And even just what it means, it's 10 points for Lynchburg, but obviously none for EMU. Just think about how much more of that swing it could potentially be. Vetter gives back to Davis. Works the baseline, the floater strong. Bree Redfern's back in for EMU. She was in the starting lineup, provides a little bit more size, so it might be a part of those changes that Coach Posey implements as this game progresses. Double screen, the top of the arc. Easy like Sunday morning for Lizzie Davis. Here is Redfern, talked about her last possession. Finds her open teammate just in front of the three-point line. Shot made by Lauren Moore, freshman from Gainesville, Virginia. First time in a while we've seen a made bucket by Eastern Mennonite. Last made field goal was nearly 4 minutes game time ago. Now, EMU with a stop. The foul goes against Kate Kolb, her second. First to go against Lynchburg in the second quarter. Both teams with one foul so far in the second set of 10, so I don't envision us getting the bonus. Aaron Green subs back in, as does Hannah Clay. Taylor Gant. Redfern had a step on her defender. Gets the offensive rebound after her initial miss. And he converts on the floater. Gant throws to nobody. Just looked like her and Johnson not on the same page. Redfern, stop, pop, count it. It's a long two. Little 4-0 run for the Royals. Hamlet trying to work through both screens. Gant Finds Green. Couple of missed bunnies for Erin Green. She shows some frustration at the end of that play.
You know, I think the Royals have now see their opportunity because they've made those 2 long twos, you know, back to back effectively. And I think they, at least if they don't work on it now into the second half, working on maybe getting more of those looks and stop driving as often.
Confidence is contagious. Got a couple of buckets, a few stops. There's a pathway for you to get back into the game. And it's aided by a foul call against Sarah Johnson, sending Constance Kamara to the free throw line. Senior, the only senior in the starting lineup for EMU, native to Harrisonburg, Virginia. Hometown product for the Royals. She's got 7 games this year, scoring in double figures. This afternoon, that free throw moves her into the scoring column. There was another look at the foul against Johnson. 2 for 2 for Kamara. 77.4% free throw shooter. All of a sudden, lead down to 11. Clay in the corner, high arcing shot. Misses everything. Davis, rebound, basket, foul on top. Lizzie Davis already with 16 points this afternoon. And now gets set at the free throw line where she's been fantastic all afternoon long. 4 for 4, make it 5 for 5. There's 17 points, good for 3rd most in a single game all year long, and we still have 2 minutes to go in the first half. Poston works her way to the restricted circle. Leaves the finger roll well short. Nearly turned over. Meredith Vetter looking for help. Has it taken away, and it's picked up by Poston. Those 2 games with more scoring production, by the way. Lizzie Davis had 18 points a game at Randolph-Macon, and then 28 at Mary Washington. Here it's Davis finding a wide open Clay. One more pass. Green had a second defender collapse on her. Flung it back out to Davis. Lynchburg resets the play, runs it again. This time Green with more separation. Pushes the lead back out to 16.
You know, even though that converted it for points for the Hornets, I still wouldn't be extremely upset by that, you know, that entire series as the Royals, because they were able to stop down low, both in the play before that and that play.
And it's incremental progress, right? At first, at a point in the first quarter and in the beginning of the second quarter, it was looking really easy. Now you're starting to feel Lynchburg is having to work a little bit harder to try to get their offensive production. With that said, it's still a 14-point lead, and they've dropped 42 points with 45 seconds to go in the first half. And this is coming on the heels of dropping 90, a season best, on Tuesday against Virginia Wesleyan. Just 6 seconds on the shot clock, foul called. 3rd to go against Eastern Mennonite in the second quarter. And Maya Hamlet, guilty party, her second on the day. That resets the shot clock from 5 up to 20. Now a 16.6 second differential. Inbound goes to Johnson. Thought about taking the shot. Might have had Clay open in the corner. Instead, it's back out to Davis. The hot hand, able to get a shot up, but well contested by Eastern Mennonite. Knocked out of play. Now it's a 3.6 second differential. One thing remains, it's Lynchburg possession. Deflected out of play by Redfern. Try it again. We've talked a lot about Lizzie Davis as she's going to be the inbounder on the far sideline. Her scoring production, yeah, 17 points, that's great. How about 8 rebounds and 4 assists, too? Certainly double-double watch, and Don't rule out a triple-double potentially. Davis to the circle, off the glass and through. Give her 19. Second most she's had in a single game all year long. Only 20 minutes into this one. Redfern, no good on the three-point shot, and that will not bring it close to the first half. Davis, the way she's shooting the basketball, you can never rule it out, but missed half-court heave brings a close to the first 20 minutes of action. Lynchburg ahead by 16. Don't go anywhere. We're going to step aside and come back with some stats from the first half of play. So plenty more to watch between the Hornets and the Royals on LHSN.
When you come to the University of Lynchburg to earn a master's degree in athletic training, you'll spend time in the classroom, but you'll also spend a lot of time in our top-notch facilities, learning from athletic trainers and working closely with our student athletes. In the Graduate Cadaver Lab, you'll learn about the human body in the best way possible, by actually studying the human body. This will provide a foundation to make you a much better athletic trainer. In the Athletic Training Laboratory, you'll get hands-on experience, practicing your skills, applying concepts from the classroom, and working with faculty on research projects. It's also where our hydrotherapy facilities are. This space is also used by students for studying and practicing skills outside of class time. In the Sports Medicine Clinic and Turner Gymnasium, you'll work with student athletes from more than 20 NCAA Division III sports teams, helping get them back to practice and into the game as soon as possible. As an athletic training student, you're a big part of the success of our sports teams and the success of the local athletic teams. We see this relationship as a win-win situation. You learn, and that helps us win.
If I'm walking around over on the crowd side, I always hear someone yelling, "Hey Nat, take our picture. Hey Nat, get this," or something, or "Hey Nat, you got that shot?" Like, so I'm always like trying to photograph the crowds and my friends calling my name. I think sports at Lynchburg unifies us as a whole. No matter what background we come from, what differences we have, and what experience we've experienced through our lives, it brings us all together and we have one goal, which is to win. As a photographer, I definitely get to capture the emotion and the feel and the atmosphere of what's going on during the games and what's happening in the crowd and with the fans. We have hugely dedicated fans here at Lynchburg. They come out whether it's rain, snow, sleet, windy, no matter what. Like, they will come out and support their team and cheer them on. They will sit through anything. It brings us all together as one.
Back in Lynchburg, Virginia, it's halftime between the Hornets and the Royals. Lynchburg out in front of Eastern Mennonite, 44-28 here on LHSN. It's the back end of a doubleheader. TJ Wingert alongside Nathaniel Pierce. Been an interesting game to watch so far, and a little bit of a different side from where we were to where we are now. But we'll show you some of the stats from the first half of play. And it was once a 5-point EMU lead in the early goings. Lynchburg's offense a little slow to start, but quickly, Coach Allison Nichols and company started to figure things out, really working the ball inside with a whole lot of efficiency. I mean, you shoot more than 51% from the floor, you're doing something right.
Almost definitely, but if I were in that locker room right now, I'd be really focused on that 0% from the three-point for Lynchburg right now. And if I was in the Royals locker room, I'd be wanting to focus on that one.
I think you're exactly right. That's going to be a huge opportunity for EMU to, down by 16, at least make this a closer contest. Lynchburg 0 for 5, EMU 2 for 5 from three-point land in that first half. And hey, if Lynchburg's getting a whole lot of success on the inside, clamp down on that, force the Hornets to live from the perimeter, could be something we see in the second half. Conversely, another huge point in this game as points in the paint. It kind of coincides with what we were just talking about. 34-8 points in the paint advantage for Lynchburg over Eastern Mennonite. I've caught a lot of basketball games. I don't know if I've seen that big of a difference, especially only in 20 minutes worth of basketball.
Yeah, if this was the end of the game and that was the stat line, I wouldn't be that surprised. But being we still have 2 quarters to play, the fact that there's 34 points so far in the paint is almost amazing.
It is. That's a lot of production in 20 minutes. Both teams got to the free throw line 6 times and each went 6 for 6. Just to update you on some of the free throw numbers in this contest. We're going to step aside and come back, show you some highlights from the first half, and talk about the individual numbers for the first set of 20. So don't go anywhere. Plenty more to watch between EMU and Lynchburg on LHSN.
Look what you're missing.
It really don't matter to me. I'm just happy to be here. I might go crazy.
I was looking for a school that could provide me with the athletics, academics to pursue my career, a wind symphony to pursue my passion for music, and really have a nice general atmosphere. The professors here are really unique, their background and their passion for teaching. It's really a place where you can explore. Lynchburg gives you the opportunity to fail, but also get back up in that period of time and learn from your mistakes. I can make these mistakes within the school environment, but also with the support of other friends, and be ready for the real world when you graduate.
The biggest thing that I've taken from Westover is probably my interactions with faculty. I started working with Dr. Fryer. He's always available for help, and he makes sure that I get to do the experiments and not just be there while he does them. I didn't want to limit myself when I came here to just taking the prereqs for med school. I wanted to get a full, well-rounded education, and I definitely found that in the Westover program. It's given me the opportunity to keep playing soccer at a competitive level, but also it's given me the ability to be a student and to pursue other activities such as EMS. "100% do Westover because it's not something they're going to regret, and it's going to be a lot of work, but so is everything else. It's just going to help build their education that they've already had and make them a better person for it."
Halftime in Lynchburg, Virginia, 16-point lead for the Hornets. Out in front of the Royals in the 43rd all-time meeting between these two sides. Advantage goes EMU, 27-15 against Lynchburg. And program history, here are some of the highlights of the first half of play. There was the opening tip, and you'll see a whole lot of this. Working down low, and that leads us into our next conversation. We'll talk about the individual points. Kate Kolb, 12 points already, 6 of 6 shooting from the floor, and also making a living from inside the painted area. Lizzie Davis, 7 of 12. She hasn't even attempted a three-point shot. That's your point guard. She's getting it done on the inside. 8 rebounds, 4 assists to go along with those 19 points. Have a day, Lizzie Davis.
Oh, yeah, definitely on double-double watch, like you said earlier, if not triple-double potential with that 4-assist mark.
The broadcaster jinx is I'm starting to believe in it, so I don't want to say too much.
I'm knocking on wood, don't worry.
There we go. On the other side, EMU led by Maya Hamlet with 11 points, and she's done so pretty efficiently. 4 of 9, that's 44.4%. 1 for 2 from beyond the arc. Really comes down to who else can help carry the load with Hamlet. Bree Redfern has 6, and then it's 5 points contributed by Trinity Price. But finding that secondary score feels like something where if EMU can figure that out, especially if it's from beyond the three-point line, if it's a Price who can stretch the floor, you have your way back into it. As you see, Lizzie Davis's family in attendance, and including her fiance, Christian Kumar, member of the men's tennis team here at Lynchburg. So they've had a lot to cheer about today with how well Davis has played. But back to our point about EMU, I think if you find that secondary score, you work your way into a situation where you can make this game a lot more interesting and a lot closer.
Oh, yeah, especially if you find that secondary score and are able to clamp down on a team that's only really producing in the paint, you have an opportunity to be extremely competitive in this game.
We'll talk more adjustments after we come back from this break. We're going to step aside, though, and come back, give you those adjustments, and bring you the second half of play between Lynchburg and Eastern Mennonite on LHSN.
A lot of people go to the universities to find something to be a part of while getting their education. And when you come here, Lynchburg is that something, it becomes a family. It doesn't matter how long ago you had your professor, they still remember you and they remember all of the hard work that you put in. They're always there for you and they always want to do the best that they can to help you succeed. Here you learn how to love one another regardless of what's going on or what you believe. You leave here better than what you came in. It's what this school's really good at doing.
Okay. We're good.
Getting ready for the second half between Lynchburg and EMU. You're watching this contest on LHSN. It's TJ Winger alongside Nathaniel Pierce for the back half of our doubleheader. Men's basketball knocked off EMU 76-70. Really fun game. You could say it's a come-behind effort. Lynchburg was down by 5 after a couple minutes into this contest, but quickly thereafter the adjustments were made and the Hornets have been in the driver's seat since. But we've talked about a few changes that EMU can make during this halftime. Maybe switching up their defensive approach, force Lynchburg to shoot from the perimeter. You add a secondary scorer, especially someone who can score on your end of the court from three-point land. There might be a pathway here for EMU to make this a game.
For sure. I think it comes down more so to the defensive end, however. Finding a secondary scorer will be great, but if you can't stop Lynchburg in the paint, then
what good does it do you?
Yeah. I mean, you'll just keep the deficit where it is.
And if you're Lynchburg, more of the same, right?
Yeah.
And even in the adjustment, they 0 for 4 from beyond the arc in the first quarter, only attempted 1-3 in the second. You could already see the adjustments were being gathered. Also, want to update you on some scores from around the ODAC. Randolph-Macon knocked off Randolph 62-45. Hollins against Washington Elite Generals come away with the win 87-65. Ferrum was battling it out with Shenandoah. Shenandoah comes with the 59 win, excuse me. Virginia Wesleyan and Roanoke playing right now. Maroons in the driver's seat up 47-29. Guilford up by 6 against Bridgewater, 24-18. And you're watching this game on LHSN, EMU and Lynchburg. The second half underway. First possession results in no points for either side. A miss for EMU, a turnover for the Hornets. In the first 31 seconds of quarter number 3 evaporate away. Eastern Mennonite looking break that 2-game losing skid against Randolph-Macon. In the corner, 3-point shot, no good for Kamara. First time we've seen her let it fly from beyond the arc. Harris gives back out to Davis. Pick and pop for Kolb. Kolb starting to become a factor when it comes to shooting the basketball from three-point land. 2 for 3 from beyond the arc. Small sample size for sure, but you're starting to see more of those pick and pop plays. Normally, it's Aaron Green on the receiving end, but starting to see Kolb become that floor-stretching big as well. Here it's Kolb on the defensive end, forcing the miss against Maya Hamlet. First 3-point shot for Davis today. Lynchburg seems to be without a made 3-point basket so far. Now 0 for 6 as a team.
I'll be curious if they treat that missed 3 like they did in the second quarter, where they just say, all right, well, let's go back to what works.
Essentially as a feeler. Hey.
Yeah.
Or is it any better? Yeah. Yep.
If I were the Hornets right now, I would consider this a comfortable spot to kind of experiment around with either something new or something you're a little bit foreign with, something that, you know, might work well in practice, but of course it's just practice. It's not against an actual team that wants to win against you. So who knows what we'll see from the Hornets in this third quarter.
Oh, we certainly could be walking into testing grounds for the Hornets. Still a zone defense, and I think that would be another one of those changes we might see. The mid-range jumper is drilled by Redfern, but potentially playing some more man-to-man. It's not something that Coach Nichols has used all that often. It's really been like the change-up to her fastball, trying to keep defenses on their toes. Harris lets the 3 go, misses strong. And Trinity Price bringing it across. She's got one of the 2 made 3-point shots so far for Eastern Mennonite. Redfern able to get it out. Glimpse, no good from downtown. Green can't control the rebound. She was the last to touch it. Out of play it goes. Across the baseline. Inbound from underneath the hoop. Price with the honors.
You can already see how EMU is kind of greenlit a few more of those 3-point opportunities instead of shying away from them. Although they may now because of the two missed opportunities.
They were 2 for 5 in the first half. Already attempted 3 threes.
Oh, 3, excuse me.
Here in the second half. Hamlet stays with it. No good. Free throw line jumper. Both offenses cold to start. We've only seen 2 points through almost 3.5 minutes of play in the third quarter. Referees are going to come together and talk about last play. As we wait, here's the play once more. And it looks like it's going to be a technical given going against Lila Klimt. It looked like her and Cole were tangled up, and ultimately Klimt pushes off a little too strong. Green to the free throw line. Knocks down the first. Lynchburg perfect from the stripe so far, 7 for 7. Green makes it 8 for 8. Green personally 3 for 3 from the line and has 9 points, knock on the door, being the third player for Lynchburg already into double figures. To go along with her 7 rebounds too. So it might not just be Lizzie Davis reaching a double-double today. And after the free throws, Lynchburg has possession. Vetter drives in, and it's called for the travel. Claiborne Poston. No good. Poston came today averaging more than 10 points per contest. Remains scoreless. And is now 0 for 2 from the floor. Davis drives in. Hamlet called for the foul. Second to go against EMU. Taylor Gant checks back in. Subbing in for Meredith Vetter.
Excuse me, I don't know what exactly the Royals talked about, obviously, in their locker room, but they have come out with a tenacity on defense that I wasn't quite expecting, and they, especially with the full pressure for the entire half of the court, they're not letting any player free for any length of time.
Davis for Green. Kolb knocked down once again, and this time they're going to call Kolb for the foul, and Kolb got back to her feet for a moment and now will hobble to the bench. That is not a good sign for Lynchburg. Here's the basket for Green, excuse me, and the tail end of that play. That one certainly seemed more incidental as feet just get tangled up. Kolb will work with the athletic trainers. Hope to see her back in today's game. 3-point shot from the corner, no good for Maya Wright. She's now 0 for 4 on the season from beyond the arc. And on the other end, it's Olivia Harris picking up her first 2 points of the day.
It is a good thing to see Kolb walking on that ankle that seemed to have been a little messed up after that last play where she went down.
Certainly a good sign. We hope it's just a tweak as opposed to something more serious. Harris with a nice find. Johnson. Looked like the shot might have been tipped on the release by Wright. Poston, give and go. Pass goes wayward. Olivia Harris tips it out to Price, gets it back to Poston. 3-point shot. Way too strong. Davis with no one else around her says, I'll take it myself. And that's a game high 21. 7 points away from tying her season high 28 at Mary Washington. After the made basket, we've reached our third quarter media timeout, so we'll step aside. Lynchburg ahead by 20 over EMU on LHSN.
The biggest thing that I've taken from Westover is probably my interactions with faculty. I started working with Dr. Fryer. He's always available for help, and he makes sure that I get to do the experiments and not just be there while he does them. I didn't want to limit myself when I came here to just taking the prereqs for med school. I wanted to get a full, well-rounded education, and I definitely found that in the Westover program. It's given me the opportunity to keep playing soccer at a competitive level, but also it's given me the ability to be a student and to pursue other activities such as EMS. I 100% do Westover because it's not something they're going to regret, and it's going to be a lot of work, but so is everything else. It's just going to help build their education that they've already had and make them a better person for it.
Four minutes, 24 seconds left to go in the third quarter. 52-32 your score. Be Royals possession coming out of the break. TJ Winger alongside Nathaniel Pierce. It's been great having you up in the booth today. Had you for the men's game and more than halfway through the women's side. Been nice to have somebody else to talk to. I'm sure the viewers are great and really happy that it's not just me talking to myself for, 80 minutes of basketball today?
Yeah, working in one of the other positions or even just watching a stream, listening to you talk to yourself. Though you're great at what you do.
Oh, you don't have to be nice.
It sounds like you're going a little crazy sometimes.
Oh.
Don't worry, I don't have to be nice. You're right.
That's what the viewers really want to hear. What's TJ really like? Vetter no-go with the left-handed layup. Offensive rebounds. 10th of the day for Lizzie Davis. 10th rebound, I should say, for Lizzie Davis. And a putback, too. She's got 23. Her career high is 29. Knocking on the door with that. She already has the double-double. And 6 assists. Meredith Vetter gathers the miss. Nearly ran into Clay as they both were headed towards the corner. Hop step, Johnson, basket, and the foul. Lynchburg seemingly can do no wrong on the offensive end. Davis will check out. She's worked hard. Opportunity now to catch her breath. Olivia Harris subs in. Young backcourt now for Lynchburg with Ganton Harris, sophomore and freshman respectively. And some subs on for EMU, including China Roberts, senior from Ashburn, Virginia. Another look at the make from Johnson. Opportunity to make it a 25-point game. She does just that.
You have to be somewhat amazed as well coming into this game because Lynchburg was shooting less than 70% from the free throw, and they're, 9 of 9 today?
Been really sound from the stripe. Another improved area statistically today for Lynchburg. They were already the number 2 team in the conference in field goal percentage defense, holding teams to 34.3% shooting from the floor. Well, today, it only got better. EMU 12 of 46, 26.1%. Gant, unselfish find. Johnson up to 9. With one more point, Johnson becomes the 4th player for Lynchburg to hit double digits. And on Tuesday, Lynchburg took down the Marlins, winning by 35. That was a season-high winning margin. And may well top that today if this trend continues. The Hornets certainly rolling. Redfern has something to say about it. Now with 5 points. Harris misses short. Lynchburg still without a made three-point shot. And up by 25 despite going 0 of 8 from beyond the arc. Not necessarily something you want to be able to say, but impressive nonetheless.
That is for sure. And if I were the Royals, I'd almost be happy at that statistic. But if I were, head coach Allison Nichols, don't know that I would be happy that the Hornets are winning, but I don't know that I would be very happy to go to practice on Monday.
Lots of work on the three-point shooting, I would venture to say. But, I mean, even the upcoming schedule, we talked about this with the men's team, it's a quick turnaround for Lynchburg. They're also playing a couple times this week. They're at Guilford on the 24th, 2 days away, and then at Bridgewater on Wednesday. That game will be on the LHSN radio network. Hope to have you tune in. Yours truly traveling with the women's team up to Harrisonburg. Vetter backs it out, less than 2 to go in the third. Tipped out by Roberts. Hornets maintain possession. But it's also a quick turnaround for Eastern Mennonite, playing on Monday at Hollins. So a homecoming of sorts for Jenny Posey, former head coach for a couple programs, also the strength and conditioning coach for Hollins. And then after that, they have to play the next day at home against Shenandoah. Price keeps it in, finds Redford. 3-point shot at the top of the arc. No good for Lauren Moore. Clay, got it. It's a high arcing jumper. But when it's knocked down, it's a thing of beauty for Clay. Redford can't answer. 2-on-1, Harris, bounce pass, Vetter. Easy with the left hand. And it's now a 28-point lead, resulting in a timeout on the floor. 56.8 seconds to go in the third quarter. Just a 30-second timeout. Again, if you missed the upcoming schedule, Lynchburg playing on Monday at Guilford, then at Bridgewater Wednesday before next Saturday. Home contest against Guilford. 3 games over the next week. And for EMU, it's a game on Monday at Hollins, Tuesday at home against Shenandoah, before next Saturday playing host to the Randolph Wildcats. See a string of possessions there. We've been saying it all day long. Lynchburg's been able to get inside the paint and score with ease. See Lynchburg president Allison Morrison-Shetler in attendance, and you'll see her at every sporting event for Lynchburg as the year progresses. In her second year as the university president, had her inauguration earlier this year. Big sports fan. I need to get her on during halftime one of these days. She says it all the time to me. I need to make that actually happen.
For sure. She would enjoy that quite a bit.
Less than a minute to go in the third quarter.
As we've gone through this third quarter, one thing we talked about at halftime, which was the points in the paint difference, is it's only gotten, it's gotten, worse is the wrong term, but it's gotten
wider.
Larger. Yes. Because Lynchburg now with 48 points in the paint out of their 64 total, which is wildly impressive.
Vetter called for the travel. And to your point, Pierce, that's 75% Lynchburg's offensive production. And I can tell you with certainty, none of the other 25% is from three-point land. Actually, I beg your pardon. Hannah Clay changed that.
They got one.
Lynchburg, 1 of 9 from beyond the arc. How could I forget that? 2 teams exchange possession, foul called. There we go against Lauren Moore. Johnson looks to be okay. Shot clock's turned off. Less than 19 seconds to go in the third quarter. 28-point contest. From one big to another, Johnson finds Green, keeps it in. Harris, give her 3. There's the second trifecta on the day for the Hornets, and nice way for Lynchburg to bring it close to the third quarter of play, and they find themselves up by 30 heading into the final 10 minutes of action. We'll step aside and come back with more between the Royals and the Hornets on LHSN.
I was looking for a school that could provide me with the athletics, academics to pursue my career, a wind symphony to pursue my passion for music, and really have a nice general atmosphere. The professors here are really unique, their background and their passion for teaching. It's really a place where you can explore. Lynchburg gives you the opportunity to fail, but also get back up in that period of time and learn from your mistakes. I can make these mistakes within the school environment, but also with the support of other friends, and be ready for the real world when you graduate.
Today's a rough day. Jess and I are officially on a break. The couple canoe has broken up.
It's not.
How you feeling? Living the dream.
Just
Fourth quarter time in Lynchburg, Virginia. Update, the last shot from Harris, not a three-pointer. It has been updated. 66-36 was the correct score. Harris, no doubt about this one. That one's a three to make it 69-36.
She wanted to make sure she had that stat credited to her.
And now Lynchburg has their second three ball to fall. It's been a quiet day for Harris, but now she's up to 7. 5 straight points for Lynchburg. Poston no good. Three players into double figures so far for the Hornets, with Sarah Johnson knocking on the door at 9 and Harris not far behind at 7. Conversely, on the other side, 6 players in the scoring column for EMU. 2 into double figures, 11 for Hamlet, 10 for Redfern. And in every quarter play, Lynchburg has had a wider and wider margin of victory in each quarter. Into the first, it was 19-16. Lynchburg took the second, 25-12, and then won the third, 22-8. Another look at the foul. That's going to send Lizzie Davis to the free throw line. Game best 23 to this point. 6 short of tying a career high. She can get 2 of those 6 right here. And gets the first of the 2 free throws. She was the 2021 ODAC Most Outstanding Player in the tournament. Of course, part of the championship winning team here on Wayne Prophet Court, taking down Roanoke. Helmed by now 8th year head coach Claire Flaherty and then associate head coach Allison Nichols. Johnson lost it. Harris fouled on a layup attempt. And Harris has routinely been able to reach double figures and give her these 2 free throws plus 1 more point sometime during the fourth. She's able to do just that. Kate Kolb is going to sub out. Mimi Oliver checks in to finish that point. 6 consecutive games where Harris has had at least 13. Or at least 10, excuse me. But as Oliver checks in, Pierce, we were just talking about during the break, this is really interesting to see how this team might change moving forward for Lynchburg as they're up by 36. They play a whole lot through their bigs, and then we saw that even more so put on display today, but Aaron Green's a senior. Mimi Oliver just checked in, a senior. Kate Kolb has been fantastic today, a senior. And then you have Brooke Vetter, who's this combo player. Meredith Vetter, same thing. Both seniors. That leaves Sarah Johnson all by her lonesome as the returning post player for next year's roster. Now, obviously, COVID plays a factor. There's some extra eligibility in there for players who want it. A lot of dust will still be settled there. But this could be a team that has its complexion and its identity shift from what it has been in years prior with the likes of Green, Kolb, Oliver, and company.
It will definitely be interesting to see how they handle that shift away from so many bigs on their roster. But I have faith that Coach Nichols will be able to not only handle that shift, but also recruit well enough to where maybe they won't even need it.
And one for Maya Hamlet. Nice finish through contact. She's headed to the free throw line now. Hamlet up to 13 on the afternoon. Here it is once more. To your point, and going back to some of the players that Coach Nichols recruited at Roanoke, I think Coach Nichols, this is not me just saying this because I work for the University of Lynchburg, but understands where basketball is headed. And you look at the players she recruited at Roanoke, Renee Alquiza is this center power forward because of how big she is, but as good a shooter as there is in the entire conference. Whitney Hobson has great command of the basketball and is ideal floor general. Coach Nichols has an eye for talent, and you're already seeing that with players like Olivia Harris, one of those first recruits in the Nichols era. Offensive rebound for Mackenzie Brundage, first time calling her name today. Brundage controls in the corner, shot clock's at 8. Oliver gives out to Green, back to Oliver. Drives in, right-handed layup, no good. Hamlet. It's a wide open teammate, about 15 feet away from the basket. Shot coming from Savannah Crawford, freshman from the Commonwealth of Virginia. Whistle brings to close the possession for Lynchburg. Darcy Ross checks in for Aaron Green. 7:13 left in regulation. Bringing it across half court is Lauren Clapp. First time we've been able to talk about the sophomore from Bluemont, Virginia for EMU. Shot from the corner, no good for Maya Wright. Davis has 25. And I would assume down the rest of the way, you won't see Lynchburg in too much of a hurry. Get set offensively. Turnover for Davis. Lynchburg's done a good job overall today avoiding live ball turnovers. They do have 16 turnovers overall now, but only 2 fast break points for Eastern Mennonite. And only 6 points off the turnovers. Hamlet with after the hop step. Misses. Oliver with the rebound. And Davis picks up another turnover. Another one of the live ball variety. 2 more points for Hamlet. Up to 16 now.
You know, even though Davis is giving those turnovers up, I mean, it sucks. Obviously, turnovers are never something you want. But it kind of shows to, even though she has the great ability to score well, her selflessness when it comes to it, because she could easily try to take that herself, but instead trying to get it to somebody else.
She came in the day first in the conference in assists per game, and she has been towards the top of the country in that metric as well. And I mean, speaking of that, and I think this is really the capstone, she averages 6.2 turnovers per game, which I know that does not lead off on a good foot for where I'm going with this. But she's still top 10 in the conference in assist-to-turnover ratio, despite averaging 6 turnovers per game, which there are not many players who can say that. There's the foul once more. That sent Mimi Oliver to the free throw line. Oliver goes 2 for 2. She was the only player on Tuesday that did not reach the scoring column that did touch the court for Lynchburg. Today, she has 2 minimum. Redfern swings to the corner, and Kamara is going to be called for the double dribble. And looking big picture, I know obviously the score doesn't present a flattering picture for Eastern Mennonite, but when you have a young team, sometimes you get one of these, and ultimately you have to think about it as a learning curve, right? You make some mistakes now, you have some difficulties, it'll make you better in a couple of years' time.
Definitely, and this gives the Royals the opportunity not only to build on their very young team that they have, but also to know where to go from here. Because obviously this year, I'm not going to call it a rebuilding stage. Obviously, we don't know where exactly they are. But with that young of a team and still the ability to recruit, they're most likely going to try to work on those things that they have weak spots in. And I think this team could be dangerous in 3 to 4 years.
Brundage crosses from right to left. Layup no good. Oliver gets the rebound and is fouled by Lauren Moore. And following up on that point, Lizzie Davis, 6.7 assists per game, third in the country. Leave you with that thought as we've reached our fourth quarter media timeout. We'll step aside and come back with the final stanza. Lynchburg up by 34 on LHSN. Four minutes, 49 seconds. All that remain. Lynchburg in the driver's seat looking to make it back-to-back wins. And doing so, both games at home. Win would improve the Hornets to 7-1 on Wayne Prophet Court. Three-point shot, no good for Brundage. More importantly for Lynchburg, currently tied for fifth in the ODAC standings. To win only put you in a position to either maintain that spot or move up in the standings. Ross over to the far side. This is Reagan Moore checking in for the first time today. Fouled on her way to the basket. That was the fifth foul to go against EMU, so Reagan Moore will step to the free throw line. 0 for 1 so far on the season. My right checks back in for EMU. Morris sophomore from Aldie, Virginia. Ready at the line. First free throw attempt up and on the way. And with the made free throw, only Taylor Ganton, Kenzie Brundage, and Darcy Ross not in the scoring column for Lynchburg. No good on the second. But if you're a Lynchburg fan, it becomes back-to-back games where all 12 available suited up and played. Not many teams that can do that. There's not many times in the schedule where you're able to do that, but big win on Tuesday. Winning by 35. That's the exact same differential today.
Even with the three individuals that haven't scored, it doesn't mean they haven't done anything either. Taylor has a rebound and an assist, and then the other two, Ross and
Brundage,
both have a rebound each.
Well, Reagan Moore moves from 1 point to 4 on the day. She's actually a really consistent three-point shooter, too. Now 3 for 4 from beyond the arc in game this year. Lauren Moore looks to answer for the Royals. Shot no good. Clay has made 3 today. Speaking of that three-point percentage, still not in a great spot for Lynchburg, but 3 of 13 is certainly better than the 0 for they were for a while. 0 for 8. Oliver, kiss off the glass. A 40-point Lynchburg lead. Continue with that point. If it was an 0 for 8 start, it's 3 for the last 5. From beyond the arc for the Hornets. Maya Wright fouled in the act of shooting. Showed to the line with just under 3 minutes to go. Trina Roberts checks back in. Trying to continue. She's played in every game but 2 this year for Coach Jenny Posey and the EMU Royals. First attempt, no good for Wright. Her first miss from the line this year. She's now 1 for 2 all season. Here it is one more time. And Brundage caught reaching it a little bit too far. Trying to contest that. Oliver, not on the same page with Clay. Zigged when she was supposed to zag. Another turnover for Lynchburg. Number 19 on the day. Right around their season average.
With 19, almost 20 being their season average for the turnovers, it's almost normal to be a little upset by that number. But the performance doesn't really show it, especially in the last couple games.
And it's one of those things where 20 turnovers a game, especially in the women's side, not as bad. It's middle of the pack inside the ODAC. You compare that to, say, the men's basketball team for Lynchburg, averaging 12 turnovers per game. Styles of play are a little different. Also, Coach Nichols runs as quick an offense as there really is inside the conference. So faster you move, the more prone you are to those turnovers. And one final point, Lynchburg also forces teams into about 18 to 19 turnovers per game. So it's been pretty even for the most part as the year has gone on. Royals calling for the travel. Clock stops with 2:04 to go. 41-point lead for Lynchburg. This would be their largest margin of victory all year long, following up the 35-point win against Virginia Wesleyan on Tuesday. Now we are seeing that zone defense for EMU. We wondered if we would see it, but a little later than I anticipated. On her way up, Ross draws the foul. And Ross with a chance to become the 10th player for Lynchburg to hit the scoring column. And you can see the reach from the backside of that play. And Ross does just that, joining the scoring column in her first free throw attempt on the afternoon. So overall, a great team performance for Lynchburg. And certainly have a lot of momentum going into their matchup with the Quakers down in Guilford on Monday. So you have Lynchburg men's and women's basketball teams, 2-day turnaround. And talked to TC Thacker and some of the men's basketball players after their win earlier today, and talks to them about that upcoming schedule, having to play Monday and Wednesday to get back to it. Not long after that, this next weekend, said it's an NBA schedule, and if that's what they got to do, that's what they'll do. And it's a very similar road to be traveled for Lynchburg, playing Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, the next Monday, and then 2 days later, the following Wednesday. Now, through that stretch, there are some advantageous matchups. You see Guilford twice, Bridgewater, Shenandoah, at Hollins. A chance for Lynchburg to really pick up some steam, positive momentum building into postseason time. Climb up the standings some. You could be hosting a postseason game. So you know this team is on the pathway, potentially repeating as ODAC champs.
The more often they can host, the better it is. As we were talking about before, it's almost intimidating for teams in or out of the conference to come into Wayne Prophet Court to face either the men's or the women's team. Because coming into after the men's game, they're 4-1, and then coming into today, the women's were 6-1.
Yep.
And after this, likely be 7-1.
Yep. That's exactly right. Plus, students getting back on campus, the crowds with these new bleachers are only going to grow larger and larger as the year goes on. Final 10 seconds. Clapp takes the three, misses it all. And after the inbound, that'll bring this game to its conclusion. 86-44, Lynchburg the victors. Hornets elevate to 8-6 on the year, 4-3 in conference play, and as you said, are now 7-1 at home. On the other side, EMU drops their third consecutive contest, now 5-10 on the season, 1-8 in conference play. Pierce, it's been great working with you today. Some final thoughts from this one. EMU lose by 42. There's not a whole lot you want to look back at this game. Probably one of those dump it, don't think about it. But you got some mistakes, learned for a young team, and especially early on. I think they came out, showed a lot of fight, especially considering it's Lynchburg's Alumni Day. Didn't even talk about that during the broadcast, but there was a lot to play for Lynchburg, and really it was EMU delivering the first punch.
No, for sure. And I think even though this is one of those games you want to drop and not think about for the rest of the season, there were still some good takeaways. They had a good amount of steals from Lynchburg. How many was it? 11 steals on the game, which is a fantastic number, even playing a team like Lynchburg. And again, we've said it multiple times now, their team is extremely young, and they have nothing but room to grow after this. And as we've said before, I think this team is going to be a formidable force in the next 2, 3, 4 years.
Then it comes down to Coach Jenny Posey finding this team's identity, which, when you have a young team, easy to kind of mold that into as you have a lot of versatility and flexibility moving forward. Meanwhile, for Lynchburg, look, it's a 3-game losing streak coming into this week and 2 emphatic wins by 35 against the Marlins and today by 42 against the Royals. This team's right back where they were before the losing skid to end non-conference play and carrying into conference action.
Definitely, and that's definitely what they needed going into some more conference play this week with their tough schedule. I only see light at the end of the tunnel.
There we go. That's what every Hornets fan wants to hear. But that's going to do it for us from Wayne Prophet Court. Thank you, everybody, if you tuned in at all during today's doubleheader. We appreciate it greatly. For Nathaniel Pierce and my director, Sam Rice, my name is TJ Wingert. Signing off from Wayne Prophet Court. Until next time.